This one truth will change how you see your life forever, because one choice creates your entire path. If you're looking for motivation, wisdom, and life lessons, take the path of purpose.
What is the nature of good and evil? What is the nature of good and evil? It is a question that lies at the heart of every story, every religion, every philosophy, and every human heart. From the dawn of civilization, we have tried to make sense of the forces that shape our choices, our society, and our souls. Why do we choose to help or harm? Why do some people sacrifice themselves for others while some commit unspeakable acts? Is good innate, or is it taught? Is evil a flaw in human nature, or a product of the world around us? These are not abstract questions. They define how we live, how we treat others, and what kind of world we build. Let us begin with history. From ancient times, humanity has grappled with the concepts of good and evil. In Zoroastrianism, one of the world's oldest monotheistic religions, the universe is a battleground between Ahura Mazda, the god of light and truth, and Angra Mainyu, the spirit of darkness and deceit. This cosmic dualism laid the foundation for many later religious ideas about the struggle between good and evil. In Christianity, good and evil are central to the story of creation, fall, and redemption. Adam and Eve's choice in the Garden of Eden introduces the idea of free will, that humanity can choose between obedience and rebellion, between life and death. Satan becomes the embodiment of evil, while God represents ultimate good. The cross itself becomes the symbol of how good can triumph over evil, not through violence, but through sacrifice. In Islam, the struggle between good and evil is personal and internal. Each person carries a nafs, the self, which must be disciplined and purified. Evil comes not only from external forces but from within. When we allow pride, greed, or hatred to guide us, yet God is merciful, and every good deed, no matter how small, is valued. Eastern traditions offer different but equally profound perspectives. In Hinduism, good and evil are part of a cosmic balance. The god Vishnu preserves order, while Shiva destroys, not as evil, but as necessary for rebirth and renewal. Dharma righteousness is the path we must follow, and karma ensures that our actions return to us. In Buddhism, good and evil are not absolute forces, but consequences of intention and action. Suffering arises from attachment, and liberation comes through compassion, wisdom, and mindfulness. The Greeks too wrestled with morality. In Plato's works, good is equated with truth and the highest form of knowledge. Evil, then, is ignorance. Socrates believed that no one willingly does evil. People do wrong because they do not understand what is truly good. Aristotle took a more practical approach, suggesting that virtue lies in balance, the golden mean between excess and deficiency. Courage, for example, is the balance between recklessness and cowardice. But history also teaches us that evil is not just an idea, it is real, and it has consequences. The Holocaust, slavery, genocides, and wars remind us that evil can be systemic, collective, and devastating. These are not just tragedies, they are warnings. They show us how hatred, when left unchecked, can consume entire nations. But even in those dark times, we see good shining through. People like Oskar Schindler, who saved hundreds of Jews during the Holocaust. Nelson Mandela, who forgave his oppressors to build a better South Africa. Malala Yousafzai, who was shot for wanting girls to go to school, and responded, not with hate, but with courage. So what then is good? Is it kindness, love, truth, justice? Is it the willingness to serve, to forgive, to create? Good is not weakness. Good is strength with compassion. Good is the choice to protect the vulnerable, to stand up for what is right even when it is hard. Good is the mother who works 2 jobs to give her children a better life. Good is the doctor who stays up all night to save a stranger. Good is the protester who marches peacefully for justice. Good is not perfection, it is direction. It is choosing light again and again, even when the world feels dark. And what is evil? Evil is not always obvious. It is not always a villain in a black cloak. Sometimes it wears a suit. Sometimes it hides behind bureaucracy, ideology, or indifference. Evil is cruelty for the sake of power. Evil is lying to gain advantage. Evil is dehumanizing others because they are different. Evil is the silence that allows oppression to grow. As Edmund Burke said, the only thing necessary for the triumph of evil is for good men to do nothing. Modern psychology offers powerful insights into this struggle. The Stanford Prison Experiment and the Milgram Obedience Study revealed how ordinary people can commit harmful acts under authority or peer pressure. Evil is not limited to monsters. It can live in all of us if we are not vigilant. But so can good, empathy, altruism, and cooperation are also deeply rooted in human behavior. We are wired for both selfishness and sacrifice. The choice is ours. Neuroscience shows us that the brain responds to moral choices. The prefrontal cortex, associated with decision-making, and the amygdala, linked to emotion, both light up when we face ethical dilemmas. This suggests that morality is both rational and emotional. We are born with a capacity for good, but it must be nurtured. So, where does this leave us? If good and evil exist in every heart, then the true nature of good and evil is choice. Every day, we are presented with opportunities to move in one direction or the other, to tell the truth or lie, to help or harm, to love or hate, to build or destroy. These choices are not always dramatic, but over time they shape our character, our communities, and our world. Goodness is a practice. It is built in small acts. Listening when someone is hurting, standing up to a bully, telling the truth when it is hard, admitting when we are wrong, forgiving those who hurt us. Evil thrives on passivity. Goodness requires courage. We will never live in a world without suffering, injustice, or conflict, but we can live in a world where more people choose good, where more people speak up, reach out, and stand firm. The heroes of history were not born special. They became great by choosing good when it mattered most. And so can we. We must teach our children not just knowledge, but virtue. We must build systems that reward honesty and service, not greed and deceit. We must create cultures where empathy is not weakness, but wisdom. And above all, we must examine our own hearts. The battle between good and evil is not only out there, it is within. It is in every decision, every intention, every moment, and we must fight not just to win against others, but to win within ourselves. As Alexander Solzhenitsyn wrote, "The line dividing good and evil cuts through the heart of every human being." So what is the nature of good and evil? It is not black and white. It is complex, fluid, and human, but one thing is clear. Good is what lifts others up. Evil is what tears them down. Good is truth, even when it hurts. Evil is deceit, even when it comforts. Good is the courage to change, to grow, to love. Evil is the fear that keeps us small, selfish, and silent. And the greatest truth of all is that we choose. Every day, we choose, with every word, every action, every thought. We shape who we are and what we leave behind. Let us choose good not because it is easy, but because it is right. Let us build a world where goodness is not the exception, but the norm. Let us be the people who turn compassion into courage and truth into transformation, because in the end, the nature of good and evil is not just about what we understand, it is about who we become.